Go right to questions here.
All right.
We'll open it up with questions. We'll go second row right, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, the aggression that you're seeing from the defense now, how much of that was coming up with a more aggressive way to call the defense? How much of it is just guys being more comfortable and being playing more aggressive in actions?
I think a little bit of both. I don't think that there's just one thing you can point to. I think it's a young team that's growing. I think we've been more aggressive. I think we're building more confidence and more energy. So I think it's a little bit of all those things.
We'll go far left in the back, Jeremy Birmingham, Letterman Row.
Hey Ryan, last year after the Bama game, you mentioned that you had to figure out if the personnel scheme or coaching is what the defensive struggles. You said that again earlier in the year. On the flip side of that, like, your receivers are more open than any receivers I've ever seen in my life. Is it a combination of those things, or which one of those things is to credit for that opportunity the quarterback has?
Yeah, I mean, the personnel certainly helps. Having Chris and Garrett and Jackson and Jeremy, Mecca and Marvin, I mean, those guys are very, very talented, very gifted. So they do a great job of getting open. The plays look a lot better when you have really good players up there.
Stay on the left, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, on Thursday, you talked about him after you felt he was maybe getting close to bringing some of the little good returns, showing explosiveness. Did you have what he did today in mind?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that, and it's everybody. You know, you can't just return on your own. You need a really good unit in front of you. And I think that those guys have put a lot of work in, and we've seen where it's been one or two guys that just maybe didn't finish their block, and then it would have been at least on the kicker. And we got there today. But I got to attribute, Mecca, or give credit to Emeka because his approach every day has been very mature, not much like a freshman. So that part has been great. Took care of the football, hit some big one, and that really flips the field for us. Getting the ball at midfield, it's huge. But it's everybody involved. There's a lot of guys on that kickoff return unit that deserve credit.
Right next door, Bill Landis, The Athletic.
Ryan, I know when you pick a starting quarterback, you're sort of expressing confidence in that guy by default. Well, what has CJ done the last 2 weeks to maybe enhance that trust, that confidence, maybe validate a little bit that decision you made coming out of here?
Well, I think he's executing at a fairly high level right now. Still has a lot to build on, and he'll tell you he missed a few things coming out of halftime, and we got to keep building that. But I think his preparation has been excellent. I think he sees the field well. He's got some good players around him, but he's also making some really good throws. His timing's been right. He's seeing the field. He's making good decisions. And so that's allowing us to run the offense and to be very efficient. So is he there yet? Absolutely not. He's still got a long way to go, but I'm very encouraged by what I've seen the last 2 weeks.
Is he doing a better job now of moving on when maybe he does make a mistake or the ball's just not quite where it needs to be and he gets to the next play?
Early on, it was hard to tell because everything was so new. It was hard to figure out what was what. And I think the more he's playing, the more he's understanding that you can't ride the roller coaster. You just got to keep putting one play in front of the other. And he's going to have to continue to do that because he's going to have good plays and bad plays moving forward.
Over here to the right, front row, Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Two things, right? First of all, how's Haskell?
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's something that he's kind of been struggling with. So hopefully, we can get him healed up over the bye week.
And on the subject of defense, 4 straight games with a pick 6. Some of the more explosive, game-changing type plays you've been able to consistently get. Obviously, this was later in the game, but can you just speak to young players making those plays too? What do you see there in terms of growth?
Well, I see confidence. I see a defensive staff that's working together. I got to give Kerry Combs got the game ball today, and it's because of everything that he's been through the last couple weeks, and he's just continued to show up every day, and he's a huge part of the defense. But at the same time, that we reconstruct a few things, and then we got a little rhythm going. I think he's doing a great job of seeing it from the box. I think Matt's doing a great job of calling it. I think Larry's doing a great job with his guys up front. Al Washington's starting to build some stability at the linebacker, and those guys all working together is starting to see it through one lens, and you can feel it out there. The confidence is there. It's strong, and we still have a lot of football to play and some really good opponents here in the second half of the season. So we haven't done anything just yet, but we're building on it.
We'll go to the far left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, CJ has been really efficient with his decision making when to take shots and when to check down and do this another day. The playmaking side of being a quarterback, how have you seen that grow over the last couple of weeks as he's gotten more comfortable? And do you feel like that's something that you want to see more from him?
Yeah, no, I think all those things, all the above, have been good. He threw the ball away a couple times. He did a couple of things with his feet the last few games. That was good. But he's also extended a few things and made some plays downfield. So we'll just keep coaching him up and keep building on it. And everything I think that you're investing in this, you're gonna get back in the back end, which is great for a young quarterback. So, he's gonna have to make sure he's steady. We talked early on about, when maybe there was a bad play, a bad series or whatever, you can't ride the roller coaster. Well, it's the same thing when things are going good. And so staying hungry right now is gonna be important.
We're gonna go over here to the right, Austin Ward, and then Tim May consecutively from Letterman Row.
When you talked about how different the young guys look from a month ago to now, how does it feel different for this team? I know a month ago after the Oregon, that there was a lot of felt like you guys were depressed. How has that changed over the last few weeks, and what does it feel like to be in that locker room right now?
Well, I think there was a lot of guys who just didn't have a lot of experience, and maybe there wasn't a lot of confidence in the fact that they could do it themselves, but also that the guy next to them could do it. Being with fans and going through the skull session and the walk and all those things were new for everybody. And it took a while to get some guys some reps under their belt, to build some confidence. And again, we're still nowhere here. We got a long way to go, but you can see it's a different team right now. There's a different walk. There's a different look in our eye.
Right next door, Tim.
Yeah, two quickies. Number one, what was your biggest concern going into today about Maryland, and when did you see your team take care of that concern, whatever it was? And then number two, were you aware Trevion was that close to 100 yards before he came out, before he scored his last touchdown?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. Yeah, we just try to make good decisions at that point for the for the long term. But very athletic and fast. Certainly, Talia is a very good quarterback. Was very dangerous. When they scored there, I forget exactly, to make it 21-10. That's when okay, we got to respond here. We did. We responded right down to make it 28-10, and then just kept going with that kind of stop. Scored again at the end of the half, which was good to get. And then we came out in the second half and did a good job there as well. So it's just when you see those responses from the other side, it's not easy to come in against a team like this and just blow them out. It's not easy. And so when you get something back like that, you got to respond. And I thought we've done that kind of the last couple of weeks when a couple of things have shown up. So again, some bigger challenges down the road, but we're building.
Front row left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Right, back to CJ. I know he's young. I know you got to look at the tape. I know you want to tap the brakes, but eyeball test. How good was this performance today compared to the last 2 or 3 years of things you've seen?
I don't know. Like you said, there's a lot to see here. We get to the film, and I think that, what you have to do is you have to kind of get through the season and then look back on some of these things, because when you're in it, you don't really know. There's a lot of things come into play, and I know they had a couple corners that were banged up and things like that. So, but they also played some zone, and he saw the zone well, and I thought he handled that. Made some nice throws down the red zone. Again, but protection was good. The receivers play well. So it's everybody across the board. But certainly when we're executing at a high level, we got a chance to be pretty good on offense.
What's the best thing he does?
Probably see the field.
Far left in the back, Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, you guys can be such a quick strike offense. 17-play drive to start the game. What did you think of that? What does that tell you about your offense?
It felt like a 25-play drive. I was like, I felt like we couldn't get going on first and second down. We had to convert a third down, and we weren't clean. But the good news was we kept grinding through it and converting on those third downs. I think it finished with the fourth down, wasn't it? Was that it? Yeah. So it was just one of those ugly first drives that we just couldn't quite get our feet going, and we didn't have much rhythm. We were kind of slow for whatever reason, but we pushed through that, and then we started mixing in some tempo just to kind of get them going, and then from there we kind of caught our rhythm, but it was a little clunky in that first drive.
Got time for just a couple more so we can get some players in here. Far left, Tony Gertman, Buckeye Scoop.
Ryan, CJ said he saw some things from Maryland that they hadn't really prepared for, expected to check down on those things. How much confidence does that give you when that happens?
A lot, yeah. They did, a couple things coverage-wise that we really hadn't prepared for, and he handled that well, especially early on. In that drive, it wasn't exactly the way we expected it, and he did. He checked it down. He didn't force the ball down the field. Gets the ball to Trevion, even for 3, 4, 5, keeps us on schedule on a couple of those. That's pretty big-time quarterback play for a kid at his age. So that was really well done.
Front row aisle, Clay Hall, WSYX.
The progress you made on defense seems to go back to the realignment you made 3-4 weeks ago. I know this may be old news, but how big a step was that for you as a young head coach?
I think when you go through a loss, you have to figure out, what the issues are and how to get them fixed the best you can. You're not always going to be right, and you wanna act, but you also don't wanna overreact, and identify exactly what kind of team you have, and it goes back to what we were talking about, you know, personnel, scheme, coaching, whatever that is, and then do the best you can. And, you know, you're not always right, but you do the best job that you think at that moment to make a strong decision, because that's what leadership is. And so we'll see how it plays out. We still have a lot of football left.
And final question, far right back, Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Coach, felt like this was maybe the best collective group from your linebackers, best productive game from them. Steals all over the place. Tommy and Taraji and Cody really made a lot of plays. How have you seen them in practice throughout the week make adjustments in their preparation so that they can continue to get better on days like today?
You know, I think Al Washington's been doing a great job of that. Those guys are fitting into their roles now. They understand where they fit, and now they have some experience to go back upon. And they're a very serious group. And to see them make plays and practice the way they've been practicing with their energy, that's a huge uplift for our whole defense. Because, you know, you got to be strong up front, but you also got to be strong at linebacker. Those guys are kind of the quarterbacks in there. Make sure everything gets straightened out. You know, I think, you know, we'll watch the film and be critical, you know, like we do, because we have a high standard around here. But they did make some plays and flash at times.
And how about your defensive line? It felt like your defensive ends today were as productive as they've been at any point this year. Your thoughts on the way they played?
Yeah, they got back there, and it certainly created a lot of you know, havoc in the backfield. I know if they didn't quite get a sack, they created some sort of a hurry or a rush with the quarterback, and that changed up the picture a little bit as well. So I think we're starting to get more confidence that the quarterback may not see the picture exactly well, because we changed the coverages up, and that, you know, encouraged the D-line to finish off their rushes, whether it's on the inside or on the outside with the defensive ends. I think we got 5 sacks today, so we're building.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
You got it.